I always tell my students to do what? To draw a rough sketch first so that you know how your construction will look like. This is senior school certificate examination question organized by the WAEC West African Examination Council. This was 2016 past question. Firstly, for the rough sketch, we have to follow the instruction number. AI says what? Triangle XYZ such that line XY equal to 10 cm. I'm not going to measure because this is just a rough sketch. Line XY, let me call this X and call this Y, and this must be what? 10 cm. The next one says what? Angle XYZ equal to 30 degrees. Note, we are talking about this particular angle. This angle, you consider the letter at the center, the middle letter. So the angle will be positioned here. So now you construct 30 degrees here. You construct 30 degrees. You know, to construct 30 degrees, you bisect 60 to get 30 degrees. What is the next one? Angle YXZ equal to 45 degrees. This particular place. So you also construct 45 degrees. To construct 45 degrees, you do what? You bisect 90 degrees. You first draw 90 degrees here. When you draw 90 degrees, let's say this is your 90 degrees, then you bisect your 90 degrees, and you bisect it, you have 45. So here is what? Here is 45 degrees and here is 30 degrees. The next question says locus L1 of points equidistant from Y and Z. This is Z, equidistant from Y and Z. Locus of point that is equidistant from what? Y and Z will be the perpendicular bisector of Y and Z. So that means we have to draw a line that passes through the center of this line YZ. So this is what? L1. Then the next one says what? Locus L2 of points parallel to XY through Z. Points parallel to XY. That means you have to construct a parallel line here and it must pass through Z. That means the parallel line will pass through this point C and it must be parallel to this. Then this is how you construct. This is how your rough sketch should look like. This is L2, this is L1. Then the question again, B says locate point M, the point of intersection of L1 and L2. So here is what? The point of intersection of L1 and L2. We call this point M. Measure angle ZMY. Automatically we have to draw a line that join what? M to Y. This is Y. Make mistake. So here is the Y. You draw a line that join M to Y. This particular line is a mistake. So this is the line that we are going to measure. You measure this angle ZMY. Alright, let's start the main construction. Firstly, you draw a straight line. After that, you measure 10 cm. Here is cm. you measure 10 cm. When you are measuring, they say use compass, a pair of compass and pencil only. Then measure 10 cm. This is my 10 cm. Then call this point X. Make sure after drawing your line, you mark a point X face. With X as center, you do what? You cut this line. When you cut this line, we call this point Y. Based on this question, we are to construct 30 degrees here. So we construct 30 degrees. Firstly, before we construct 30 degrees, we are going to first construct what? 60 degrees. With Y as center, you draw an arc. If you want to, you can choose to draw what? A semicircle. But me, because I just want to draw 60 degrees, I only draw arc and stop somewhere so that I will stand at this point and do what? Cut this other arc. After cutting, this is my 60 degrees. If I stand here and I bisect this, if I stand here and cut this face arc, it will be 60. Then if you measure 60 plus 60 plus 60, you have what? Angle on a straight line, which is 180 degrees. After constructing 60 degrees, we have to do what? We have to bisect this 60 degrees. We stand with this center. You draw an arc with this side as center. You cut the face arc. Then we join this line to here. Now this is what? 30 degrees. From here to here is 30 degrees. Then with X as center, you draw a semicircle. Draw a semicircle. Why are we drawing semicircle? Because this is angle on a straight line is 180 degrees, so we have to bisect 180 degrees. To bisect 180 degrees, and with this point as center, you draw an arc, and with this other point as center, you cut the face arc. We have just constructed 90 degrees. So now we want to bisect this 90 degrees for us to have what? 45 degrees. So we have to bisect 90 degrees. With this as center, you draw here, and with this other point as center, you cut that face arc. And then you draw a straight line to pass through this arc, pass through the middle, and then produce to this other line. Now the point where this line meets with this other one, you will see that this is triangle. This is 45 degrees, and this is our Z. This point is our Z. So the next one, we are to construct a point locus, that is locus L1 of points equidistant from Y and Z. So the first one, this one we are to do what? To bisect this line YZ with Y as center, and then the radius greater than half YZ. with radius greater than half YZ, make sure you increase this is like the half, but then you have to do what? Increase your radius. Then you do what? You draw an arc here, and you also draw an arc. You draw on this other side, then with Z as center and that same radius, you cut the face arc, and then you also cut this other arc. I need to draw it again. With the same radius, you cut this, you cut this. Join the 2 points. So now this is what? This point is L1. L1. We call this line L1. The distance from Z to this point is the same as from distance from here to what? To Y. Number 3 says locus L2 of points parallel to XY through Z. So this point, the point will be passing from here. Point will pass from here. So what are we going to do? We are going to construct a parallel line. The line that is parallel to this line XY. Pay attention. With X as center and any convenient radius, you draw an arc to cut this line and this. You draw an arc to cut line XZ and line XY, and then with that same radius, you stand here. This is with Z as center. You draw an arc here to cut this line and then produce it down small. What we are going to do here is we are copying this angle. We want to construct 45 degrees here. That means we are copying this particular angle. This angle ZXY. Check our previous videos. You see how to construct an angle equal to another angle. So you will see it. By copying this angle here, you are doing what? You are going to draw what? A parallel line. So now after drawing this, we now measure. Okay, let me name this thing. This can be P and we call this Q. Let me call this one I. We measure point PQ with that same radius of what? Line PQ. You do what? We measure line PQ, and with that same radius we position our compass here. That is, with I as center, you cut this face arc. Now you join that point, the point where you cut this face arc. You join this point to Z. Alright, so now we have the midpoint here. So this point is where this is L. Note this L1 is not this point. This L1 is not this point. This L1 was this line. So this is L2. We call this other line L2. Let me draw something like this, and this one like this. So this is our L1 and this is our L2. Now this point, B says what? Locate point M, the point of intersection of L1 and L2. So here is the point of intersection of L1 and L2. So we call this point M. We call this point M. Now we are to measure angle ZMY. But for us to measure angle CMY, we have to do what? We have to draw a line and produce from what? M to Y. From M to Y. So this is our line. Then you have to use a protractor to measure angle ZMY. So we place our protractor here. We are measuring from here 0 degrees, so we are not starting from this 180, we are starting from 0. So we count to where this line, this is at here is 120, so 121, 122. The angle is 122 degrees. So we are to write angle ZMY equal to 122 degrees. If you have watched up to this point, yes, I want to know the people that have watched till the end. Type MathKub on the comment section, and thank you for watching. Do have a wonderful day, and check my other videos for other constructions. Thank you and bye for now.